Welcome to the Woman's Connection. I'm Barry Louise Switson, your moderator. The Woman's Connection is a program about events shaping women's lives and helping one gain authentic power on a personal or professional level. So won't you stay tuned?
I'm Ann Williams. I'm the chairperson of the Manhattan chapter of the American Society of Dowsers. I am here tonight to tell you about advanced dowsing information. I've been dowsing for over 31 years, and I keep on learning new ideas and new techniques to improve my work, and that keeps me interested and excited. I want you to know the importance of being clear when you douse, and neutral, always raising your questions in the very clearest and most precise way. Don't allow knowing what you want the answer to be to influence you or get in your way. One way to keep neutral is to clear yourself by clapping your hands over your head 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and then over your right hip 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and over your left hip 3 times, 1, 2, 3. Then, to further that, you can also tap your forehead 3 times, 1, 2, 3, right under your nose, 1, 2, 3, and your thymus gland, 1, 2, 3. Then you're in pretty good shape to start working. Okay. Now, what we're going to do first is I'm going to talk to you about relationships, because I know this is something that many people are interested in, and I feel it's important for you to know that anybody can have a relationship when ready to attract into your life someone who is as happy, functional, attractive, and as easy to get along with as you are. Okay. Now, I have a chart here that says type of relationship. And I pick up one of these pendulums that I have here on the table, and I ask the pendulum for a particular person what kind of a relationship they're ready to have. Now, for some people it would go to a relationship of substance. For some it would say marriage non-traditional. And it might even say no relationship. One other that comes through pretty often is a mother-child relationship. And that seems to happen sometimes when I ask about men wanting a relationship. So I'm sharing that with you as information that might be very useful. There are many other categories on these charts, but those are some of the main ones. Then people have relationship fears that prevent relationships from working out well. And some of the ones that come up most frequently are fear of failure. It's only infatuation. I can't set boundaries. I can lose my sense of self. I'll be rejected. And there are many more on here, but those are also the ones that come up the most often. So that's just to give you a little hint about working with relationships. The next topic that I want to cover is harboring of deep suppressed negative emotions. Now, negative thoughts get in our way. These are emotional problems, and they're ones that we harbor so deeply suppressed that we don't even realize that we're feeling them or holding on to them. But they definitely get in our way. When you begin to clear them from yourself or from another person, then you ask if they're ready to be let go of. And if they aren't, then you need to find out what the reason is why you're not willing to let go of the emotional, deeply suppressed negative emotion. If the answer is yes, then go right ahead and clear them. And there are many of them on here, categories like animosity, distrust, competitiveness, anger, hostility, self-hate, rage, fury, and so on, and many other categories on here. But that's to give you an idea of the kinds of deep suppressed negative emotions that many of us harbor, and it can be way back from birth, as a matter of fact. It doesn't have to be something that just happened recently, although it can be, but usually it's a lot older than that. Now, okay, if somebody can't think of why they have the emotional toxins, then the deeply suppressed emotional toxins, then we can always go to the alphabet chart. This is what the alphabet chart looks like. And we can ask questions. This is something that takes a little practice, and it takes a little bit of using it over and over again before you start to get very, very clear answers with it. So you would just ask the pendulum to spell out the word for you, and it would go from letter to letter to letter, and it would give you a message. So this is what we use very often in finding out exactly what, or as near as we can, that perhaps something happened to a person when they were 10 years old, or maybe something happened when they were 3 years old. And you would probably think, well, how can they even remember back that far, especially when they were just 3 years old? But very often, just giving a person a little bit of a hint using the alphabet chart, they think for a minute and they say, I remember something that happened when my mother was so angry at me for something that I didn't do. And I was so severely punished, and I never thought that punishment fit the crime at all. And I have been suffering, I guess, ever since, holding on to deep-seated negative emotion of fury. That's where the fury is coming from. And so once they recognize it, and I say to the person, you think you're willing to let that go now because it's interfering with your good health and energy? And they often say, yes, of course I am. And of course, then we can use the pendulum and ask, my yes sign is clockwise, my no sign is counterclockwise. And I can ask, is this person really ready to let go of this deep-seated negative emotion? And then I sometimes will get a no. And I say, I think you have to think a little bit harder on this, and maybe say some very positive affirmations to help move you out of this stuck place, because this has been with you for a long time. So with a little bit more prompting and a little more discussion about it, very often the pendulum will indicate, okay, it is all right to be able to clear this right now. And we move it out. We ask the highest universal energy source to help us to move these deep-seated negative emotions out of a person's way so that they can get on with their life. And when you begin to clear them, they begin to almost immediately feel a sense of relief. And many people have said to me, I just feel lighter. I feel freer flowing. So this is a very important part of this work that I've been doing, and it's just it's an ongoing process of figuring out what needs to be done and what doesn't need to be done. So now remember also that when you're starting to douse, you want to clear yourself of all emotions that can get in the way, all thoughts, feelings, emotions, concepts, memories, genetics, ideas, suggestions, anything that would keep you from being in a really clear place. And this idea I got from the Toronto Dowsers newsletter of 2005, And it's been very, very useful because it gives us an idea of all the things that we need to clear from ourselves before we can really dowse effectively. Now, another chart I have here is emotional problem relationships. So with this emotional problem relationship chart, I also use the pendulum to ask for a particular person that I'm dowsing for, what emotional problem relationship is in their way. And it often goes to teacher. It'll swing out to teacher, and then it'll go to another category. I usually say, what else? And it'll say a principal, maybe a principal of a school they went to. Sometimes it'll even say mother or father. Very often it says that. And even a hospital it'll go to once in a while, and that perhaps is because maybe they had a very difficult experience in a hospital, and it's never been forgotten, and they've maybe never even discussed with anybody. So these emotional problem relationships definitely need to be cleared if a person is to be in a very open place so that they can dowse effectively. Very often we'll find that with a teacher, it's usually, most often it comes up age 9, that the person was 9 years old when they had a teacher who maybe embarrassed them in front of the class, made them feel uncomfortable or unhappy. And almost as I talk about it, the person will say, oh, I remember that was Mrs. So-and-so, and she was a horror. She really made my life miserable. And I said, well, do you think you can forgive her? Do you think you can move on from this? This was when you were 9 years old, and I know it was very painful then, but it's time to really let this go and move on to a better place so that your life can be a happier one, and you can start thinking more positively. And very often a person is truly able to let these go. But we've got all these different categories, and it's important to know that as these are cleared, the person begins to feel lighter and freer flowing. Now, I am very happy to be able to talk to you about Raymond Grace. This is his manual, Techniques That Work for Me. I've just recently come in contact with this manual. It's a mini course in management of energy for improving your life, and it's made a tremendous addition to the work that I do. Raymond Grace talks about changing beliefs in here, and it's on page 15. Changing beliefs. This is still talking about emotions and other kinds of situations in our lives. And in here he says, if we have inherited the color of our skin, our eyes, our hair, and other characteristics from our ancestors, why could we not have inherited their beliefs, their thoughts, and their memories? It seems that we have, and these affect us whether we are aware of them or not. Some of the things that are affected may be health, finance, relationship, and others. And if we came from a long line of people who were poor, we have accumulated several generations of poverty mentality. We must determine if there are beliefs, thoughts, and memories adversely affecting a specific part of our life, and how much. So if we ask what percentage of these is inherited, it says, don't be surprised if the answer is 100%. So, and then Raymond Grace also goes on to say, an example to check for are fear, anger, guilt, eating habits, bad relationships, low self-esteem, physical conditions, a variety of kinds. And he says, next you ask to remove the emotions from the beliefs, thoughts, and memories of the person that are adversely affecting them on a particular issue. And we ask the pendulum to go counterclockwise until this is done. So what we've done by letting the pendulum go counterclockwise is we've neutralized the energy, and it's now almost ready to be transformed into something beneficial. So if the energy is to be transformed into whatever, it has to be transformed into whatever we specify, or whatever would be for the person's highest good. So we ask the pendulum to keep going counterclockwise until this is fully neutralized. This is whatever beliefs, thoughts, and memories are in a person's way. So as this is being neutralized, sometimes it can be over with very, very quickly, and it'll come to a halt. And if there are a number of issues, it'll take a few, maybe not minutes always, but maybe maybe a minute or two. And then it comes to a halt. And then we ask that the energy be transformed into something very beneficial, and transformed from negative energy into very beneficial, positive, clear energy. And the pendulum will swing in a clockwise manner, as you see it doing now. And when the pendulum has stopped, we ask how much the issue is still affecting the person, and it will most likely be much lower than it was before. Okay. And Raymond Gray says, we have had success in lowering anger and aggression in many friends of his. We've also had remarkable success in removing poverty mentality and other non-beneficial issues. Okay. All right. And so this is Raymond Gray. There are other things that he talks about in here that are really worth telling you about. Some of the things are transferring dark energy into light, and some things are, something else is about self-esteem. When people's self-esteem is very, very low, it often can come from a person, when a person was born, of not feeling loved. Perhaps their parents were not ready to be parents. Perhaps they were not ready at that time to bring a baby into the world. It had nothing to do with what a beautiful, lovable, wonderful little baby you were, but nonetheless, it affected you because you didn't feel the kind of acceptance that you needed to feel coming into this life. So, according to Raymond Grace, he says a belief system, this creates a belief system, and people attract to themselves the people, the circumstances, and events that support their belief of not being accepted and not being loved or wanted in this life throughout their whole life. And belief system is a form of energy, as is everything else. And if we have the ability to go through time, and we believe we do, we go back and change it. And this has been such an exciting part of the work. So we go back in time to the moment of birth, and we neutralize the emotions, again, letting the pendulum go counterclockwise. The emotions of the beliefs, the thoughts, and the memories, which cause a person to feel unloved, unwanted, and unaccepted. And this is done as the pendulum swings counterclockwise. And it keeps going until this is completed. Then when this stops, we take the energy and we transform it into the most appropriate energy to cause a person to feel loved, wanted, and accepted. And we bring this feeling forward into the present and carry it into the future. And this is done as the pendulum swings clockwise. So Raymond Grace tells us to check to see if the person has any guilt, fear, inherited factors, or negative emotions that adversely affect their self-esteem and self-worth. And these can be neutralized with the dowsing system also. Remember, when you're neutralizing, you're going counterclockwise. And when that's completed, then you transform the energy into something more beneficial, and then it goes clockwise. So I wanted to share those with you because I think this is a very exciting part of the work now. And okay, now I'm going to move on to, we'll probably come back to Raymond Grace again. But in the meantime, I want to talk to you about negative energy that's in your home that can cause you to be ill. Okay. Here's a book called How Healthy is the Home You Live In by Ludwig Seidersberger. And I believe this book can be obtained at the American Society of Dowsers bookstore in Vermont. By calling the bookstore's number is 1-800-711-9530. And if you wanted to get more information about dowsing from the American Society of Dowsers, then you would call 1-800-711-9497. So I'm quite sure they have this book, and it's a kind of an old book, so I'm not positive about that, but they may have other books that are about clearing your home from noxious energies. So negative energy in your home can cause you to be ill, and from earth radiations, and from also sometimes there's been somebody who's lived in the apartment or the house that you're living in now. It could have been years and years ago that left some evil energy or some illness in the house, and so it comes from former occupants and visitors, and it certainly could have been well before you moved in or even knew anything about it. And very often that can cause people to break up a relationship, not have a happy marriage. So very, very often it's good to look in and find out what needs to be cleared from a house, and then go ahead and do it. And one way to do this is to say, using a counterclockwise swing, we say, universal energy source, spirit guides, guardian angels, dowsing system, please neutralize the frequency of all the earth radiations and radon and negative toxic energy that are adversely affecting, and then you state the address, contributing to ill health and disharmony for anyone living there now, working there, or coming there for any purpose whatsoever. And you let the pendulum continue swinging counterclockwise until it comes to a halt. And then when it comes to a halt, you say, going clockwise now, please transform all negative and non-beneficial energy to positive, clear, beneficial energy, ongoing for many years to come, as is appropriate. And then you send much love and light to the house, and a great change will often come about. And sometimes this needs to be done again after a while, but it certainly is a contributing factor to helping the house to be in a much better state. And then you always say thank you very much for your help to all the guides and the guardian angels who have helped you. If you wish, you can even check on a scale of 0 to 100 to find out how much the situation has changed for the better. And that's important to do, because it gives you an idea. It shows you that something very important has taken place. To Raymond Grace again here, and some of the wonderful ideas that I've learned from him to bring your aura back into balance. Okay, he says most people's aura is out of balance. If you're checking on a scale of 0 to 10 or 0 to 100, you'll find that very often that your aura energy is quite low. And that's the energy field around us, and it really needs to be balanced. So we just ask the pendulum to go clockwise to bring our aura into perfect balance. And it goes clockwise until it's completed, and then when it's completed, it stops. And every time I've gone to the 0 to 100 chart, I've discovered that it was up to 100% good functioning. Then Raymond Grace also talks about raising your energy level to the highest appropriate level. And you do the same thing here, is you raise your energy level to the highest appropriate level. You let it go clockwise in the same fashion. And this may need to be done every once in a while because it can go out of balance. And then you just let it go clockwise until it comes to a halt. You raise the life force, your life force, to 100%. Again, letting the pendulum swing clockwise. So it goes clockwise until it reaches 100%. And then we know that you're feeling pretty good, your aura is balanced, your energy level is balanced, your life force is balanced, and you're beginning to feel pretty good by now. You can also adjust your body frequency to your ideal body frequency. So everybody has a body frequency and they have an ideal body frequency. And the ideal body frequency, of course, is the most desirable. So we ask that the body frequency be adjusted to your ideal body frequency. And once again, you let the pendulum, I think when we're adjusting, we go counterclockwise. Okay, go counterclockwise until this is completed. Okay, and then we want to, okay, I think I just, oh yes, if you adjust your frequency to your ideal frequency, next you want to adjust your prosperity to your body frequency. And you place the most appropriate energy around the person that would allow them to receive a great abundance of financial prosperity. Could be any kind of prosperity, but if you're specifically interested in financial prosperity, then you would ask for that specifically. And you let the pendulum go counterclockwise till it's completed. Okay. All right. Now, I wanted to make sure to tell you how you can get in touch with Raymond Grace. At least his website is www.raymondgrace.com, and Raymond is spelled R-A-Y-M-O-N, no D on the end, Grace, Grace.com. And this manual that I have showed you, the techniques that work for me, is it can be obtained by sending to Raymond Grace for $13.45. You send a check only, no credit cards, check only, to Products by Raymond Grace, 29501 North Fork River Road, Fork, F-O-R-K, River Road, Saltville, Virginia, S-A-L-T-V-I-L-L-E, Virginia, 24370-4211. And then you can order that book. I also sent for the book, The Future Is Yours, Do Something About It, which was just wonderful. And if you order both books, that one and The Future Is Yours, Do Something About It, this is called The Future, this is called Techniques That, let's see, what is this? Okay. Yeah, Future Techniques That Work for Me and Future Is Yours, Do Something About It. That is, both of those books are $26.45, and that includes shipping and handling. All right. So now I think that's all I need to tell you about getting in touch with Raymond Grace at this time. And but there's much more that can be spoken about him. Interfering energy from former occupants and visitors that can affect people's homes. And I've written out a pretty good clearing that seems to work well. It goes like this: please banish all remnants of evil and illness in my living and workplace, or another person if you're speaking about another person, from all former visitors and occupants, all dark impressions, all evil and negativity, all evil residue, all negative powers, wickedness, lingering spiritual darkness, all chaotic and frantic energy, death and destruction, hatred and bitterness, and the reasons why they came, immediately, forever, once and for all, totally and completely. And please send love and light in its place in great abundance. And then we always say thank you for your help. Okay, we're addressing this to the highest universal energy source. Okay, and some people like to address it also to the Dowsing system. Okay, and we can send an energy cell to the house that will emit peace, love, and harmony. And these positive frequencies are very helpful because people have indicated that they really feel a difference in their apartments or their home, their houses. And you can send it to any building. Just imagine sending it to a building that influences our lives a great deal. This would be very, very exciting to think that an energy cell can have can emit peace, love, and harmony. So think about places that you might like to send one. Just send it in the airwaves. Okay. Some people have told me that the homes that they've lived in were very dark place before they moved in, or years before they moved in. Maybe there was a lot of drugs that went on there, or people were just doing things that were created a lot of unhappiness or discomfort in the building, and that needs to be cleared. So when we find that, we do that clearing. Also come across my Earth radiation chart, and we did kind of a quick one before. This Earth radiation chart is called an invisible risk to health, and it's got many, many categories on it. And I start off by saying, well, just to give you an idea, you can just say, using life force energies that connect us with each other and everything in the universe, you can detect and identify the detrimental energies around and within us. With the power of prayer or thought forms, you can transmute the detrimental energy that can weaken you and make you sick into beneficial energies that enhance your mood, your health, and relationships. You can transmute harmful electromagnetic fields associated with electrical appliances into beneficial energies as well. For example, to detect harmful Earth radiations in your home or another location and convert them into beneficial energy, you hold the pendulum so it swings from the bottom of this Earth radiation chart. It looks like this. And I know you can't read them all, but this is what it is. It's an Earth radiation chart, and it's got a few categories on here that aren't necessarily Earth radiations, but they're toxic, so I've added them. And you hold the pendulum at the bottom of the chart, and you say, this is for the following address. And you state the address, of course, and you give the pendulum a slight swing forward and ask that you be told which categories are most adversely affecting your living space. Maybe your bed, your desk, or a particular room or other location. And you state which ones the pendulum moves towards, and then you ask, what else, what else, what else? And it will go to maybe several. It will go to 3 or 4, but very often it goes to many of them. And so it could be a few categories or many. And then this is the kind of clearing that that I use, that I learned from Joe Korn, who is a dowser, and I think the system works very, very well. May the powers of the earth, nature, and the highest universal energy source converge to transmute all detrimental energy to beneficial energy, to harmony and balance for my home or another location, for the people living there or coming there for any purpose whatsoever, now and at all times, permanently and for as long as this building is left standing in its foundation. And then I say, it shall be done, and it is done, and thank you for your help. And then this comes to a halt. And I brought this book along especially to show you on page 25 here some of the things that can be done. Now, there's one of the pictures here that I'm specifically interested in is it's a bed, and if an noxious underground water vein is coming underneath your bed, it can create some illness, and that you will not want to have. It's created much stress for many people, and what you can do is get you can put what they call a Lahovsky circuit around this. Lahovsky was a Russian scientist, and you use a number 14 wire. I guess you have to go someplace where they sell wire, maybe hardware stores, and you get number 14 wire, and you put it all around the bed, and you leave it open 6 inches at some point on the bed, that helps to neutralize the energies. Another thing they have here is you get a red magnet, and you can put this under the bed too. I don't know where you get a red magnet, but that's what it says. You place it under the bed where the pain is the most, okay, whatever is happening to a person that they're not feeling well. Now, these noxious underground water veins are so important to do something about because they have created a great deal of stress for many people. And well, here is this person says, I've neutralized my daughter's bed by way of creating a Lahovsky's circuit using a number 14 copper wire, encircling the box spring and leaving open a gap of 3 to 4 inches. Well, I've left mine open 6 inches. I also moved the bed slightly and placed a bed magnet underneath on the floor. About 2 months later, this woman discovered that there had been a change in the husband's personality, and her daughter had not suffered from convulsions ever since. Okay, so there are all kinds of little stories in here. A racehorse, this is another one. A racehorse owner told this woman that since he stabled his horse, which was usually a winner, in a different stable, the horse's health was failing, and he was losing races all the time. And I asked the owner to draw me a sketch of the new riding stable, as well as indicating the north direction, the street address, and the name of the horse. This time she used a map to Dows, and the stall where the horse stood was above an underground water vein. I told him to ask if he could change stalls. He did so and moved the horse to a new location, a neutral area. A few weeks later, he phoned me to say that his horse was winning again. All right, so remarkable changes. Children who are bedwetters, sometimes till they're 9 or 10 or 12 or 13, have been sleeping over a water vein, and that just stops almost instantly when their bed is either moved to another location or the copper wire has been put around it. Okay, so I wanted to share that with you because I think that's really important. And these earth radiations on this chart I use them all the time. And anytime somebody says they're not feeling well, we often will just use the earth radiation chart to find out what kind of problems there are, and to do something to correct them. So this is what we're working on, and very often the health of the person changes quite dramatically. Now, sometimes people, very often people have difficulty dealing with certain people in their lives. So there's a book called The Tibetan Art of Positive Thinking by Christopher Hansard, and it's this next little prayer, I call it a prayer, is, I'm going to read it to you because it's quite beautiful and it's very short, and it's from the book The Tibetan Art of Positive Thinking, and you recite this and you use it for dealing with difficult people. So if there are any difficult people in your life, instead of thinking negative thoughts about them, you send this kind of prayer, and it frees you up too from feeling attacked by a certain situation with this person. And it goes like this, and you ask the pendulum to tell you how many times you need to say it regarding this person. And very often you can make a list of, maybe you have 3 or 4 different people who are irritating to you. So you put their names down, and you say, this, every time you use this, you say, this is for the following 4 or 5 people that are on my list here. And it goes like this: may all blessings flow to you. May self-knowledge flow to you. I reclaim the power you have taken from me. It is mine to take back. It is my right. May love and good fortune come to you now. As I speak now, you are no longer a problem for me. Your difficult energy dissolves into wisdom. You regard me with respect. And then usually you say this at least 3 times in a row. Sometimes if it's a very heavy problem that you're dealing with, you may want to say it 9 times. So on here it says 3 to 9 recitations, and after the 9th one or the 3rd one or whatever number you've dowsed to see how many times you need to say it, you will clap your hands 3 times. And that seems to be in the Tibetan way of closing this, or like it's an invocation. So people who have used this, and I have shared this with many people, are very happy with it, and they say somehow or other this just gave me a feeling of relaxation. I wasn't worried about that person anymore. One woman told me that she had been annoyed by a man who wanted to go out with her, and she wasn't interested in him, and he kept calling and he kept annoying her. And she told him not to call her anymore, and he was still calling. She did the Tibetan prayer because he was being difficult and he was annoying her, and he wasn't taking no for an answer. So she did this Tibetan prayer, and he called 2 days later, and he apologized for his behavior, and she never heard from him again because she didn't want to, and she just said this prayer, and it was quite she was quite impressed and is using it for other situations that come along in her life. All right. Now I wanted to share with you also some of this little book that I have created called The Pendulum Book of Charts. It has 7 charts in it that one can use, and alongside each chart it has an explanation of how to use the chart, so that you're not left in the dark about anything. And this is kind of a good beginner's little book. And this is I know that they have this book at the American Society of Dowsers bookstore, the number of which I've already given you. And then next thing that I created was the Pendulum Dowsers Chart Set 1. And it has many categories on it: body parts, um, services needed, dreams, exercise, what's the best kind of exercise, body image, allergy problems, love types, automobile problems, baby problems. What do you do when the baby cries? What does it mean? That can mean a lot of different things, and your pendulum can swing out to the category that most fits your baby if your energy is clear and you're dowsing well. So this is, and it has specific needs, and I think this is a wonderful little chart set to have, also located at the bookstore. And here in Manhattan, these are also for sale at the at Lifetime, which is 408 6th Avenue, and it's between 8th Street and 9th Street on 6th Avenue. And these are upstairs on the second floor by the checkout counter. You would have to almost ask for them because they're behind some makeup things that you wouldn't readily see them. But they're there, and they're for sale, but they're also available through the bookstore. So some of the categories in chart number 2, chart set number 2. And this is what I created after I got through those, and I thought this would be a good thing to have because they have little charts that you can take out and work with and then put them right back. And you know, sometimes with a book you don't want to fold it over, and this is very helpful. So this deals with self-esteem, with gemstones. What kind of gemstone do you most need? What foods are needed by you? Proteins, vitamins and minerals, supplements. How are your chakras doing? And which ones need to be balanced? Negative patterns of behavior, compatibility and balance. That's to test your energy with another person. And then there's an astrological chart in here. Bach flower essences. Sometimes you might want to take a Bach flower essence, but you haven't got a clue as to which one you need. You can use a chart to find out. California American essences they also have in here. And money blocks. People do have some money blocks, and you can find out what your money blocks are. These are very useful and helpful. And then there's the emotional toxins chart. This is the Pendulum Dowser's chart set. It says find the problem and correct it. And it's got many, many different kinds of emotional toxins that get in people's way. And you just go through them, you find out which ones you need to know about so you can clear them. And it tells you on an instruction page how to do the clearing. It's all written out very, very clearly how to do that. That's the emotional toxin chart. Okay. Putting that over there. That's also at the Dowser's bookstore, and it's also at Lifetime. Lifetime is a health food store. They have all organic produce, and it's a store to shop in, and of course it's especially nice since they're carrying my things up there. Searching for problems. This is also the Pendulum Dowser's charts. Searching for problems, find the problem and correct it. And also it has an instruction page, just like that other chart set does. And it tells you exactly how to go about doing the clearings. And then you go through and pick out the charts that you need to use and need to clear. And this has been very helpful too. So those are some of the things that are available. And I think it would help you with your dowsing to be able to use them. And I think probably I have told you many, many things here, but there's one more thing that I think that you might be interested in with Raymond Grace. That is, okay, maybe I already told you, I don't know. He talks about, well, we've already discussed raising the energy level and life force for healing, and adjusting and scrambling frequencies. And here's something that interesting that Raymond Grace has to say. He says, if everything has a frequency, then surely pain and disease must also have frequencies. And we have discovered that diseases have a spirit and a life force. And so, he says, I ask, what percentage of pain, harmful bacteria, virus, cancer, etc., is in this person's body? And here's the way I do it. I banish the spirit of the disease from all levels of the person's existence, and then deactivate the life force of the disease, and then scramble the frequencies of the disease and adjust them to the person's ideal body frequency. Now, you may not understand that just from hearing it once, but somehow or other it has quite a profound effect on a person who is not feeling well. And so this just has so many things in here. I would really highly recommend getting this manual. And people often say, that they don't understand how this works, but they're very happy that it does. And Raymond Grace also talks about ghost busting, and he says I haven't used this particular this particular information, but he says negative entities can cause people to be grouchy, dishonest, sick, alcoholic, use drugs, abusive to their family, suicidal, and have a lot of other undesirable characteristics. So you determine if the person is possessed and how many entities they may have. And you also determine if there are negative entities within the person's energy field that are causing problems. Okay, so he uses kind of like an exorcism to get rid of these. And he says, you ask your spirit guides to take the negative entities possessing the person and all those within their energy field over to the other side, and where they will be given the appropriate treatment by those on the other side, and then ask that they be sent to the realm of the spirit world where they need to go. Once this is done, ask for a shield of protection to be placed around the person so that no negative entities can come within their energy field. And this will be effective in most cases. In some cases, I've found it necessary to depossess a person again in a few days. And when this happens, ask if the person has a desire to be possessed and how strong is their desire. This can be measured in the form of percentage and on your 0 to 100 chart. Okay, so these are just some of the ideas, and I think probably this is a good place to close this talk with you, and I'm very happy to have had this opportunity to share this information that has been so near and dear to my heart and has helped me to help myself in my own life and to help many other people. And here is a little affirmation that might be useful for you to know about, to say, I expect the highest, the best, the most beautiful energy to come into my life, and I accept it fully and completely. This helps you to be more open to receive, and which is as important as it is to be open to giving. So thank you very much for joining me today, and I look forward to talking with you again at another